Yeah.
But yeah, this would be a perfect beer for sitting out there on the afternoon. Watching.
This is a good fish beer. Like
With
a pairing?
fish or
yeah. With both. I mean, this would
Like
be
a
great on a
yellowtail.
boat. Yeah.
A yellowtail snapper.
But
On a
some
boat with a
nice
goat.
yellowtail snapper.
I like the fish analogy. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. Yeah.
This
It's
is
a
a
great
very,
thing.
very Key Westy kind of like. It applies to a lot of our local cuisine. I think even fried fish. This would be great with some cheese fries.
How about you, Danny?
Oh, the cheese fries. It sounds absolutely wonderful.
Well, shit, just go grilled cheese.
Dave Senior.
Now, this is the fun thing. They actually they have a menu at the
Yeah, they do.
MIA
Yep,
Brew
they
Pub.
do, they do.
And they actually, it's downloadable. You can go to their website, miabrewing.com, and download
and
this
just so
really
everybody
great
knows,
website.
just so everybody knows,
Or,
this place
menu.
is essentially just a brew pub, and they're now distributing. They're sending their beer out. We're hoping to get some soon. And
They're
doing.
distributing their own beer.
They're distributing exactly. They're distributing their own beer. They're not
crazy.
using a distributor. And I guess Dave Jr., you were saying something about them being small enough. I don't know the laws, and you might know better than I, or your dad probably certainly knows.
Well, actually, I don't. He explained it to me, and I just didn't understand it. And,
Oh, okay,
and
but
no,
they can do
it. He says they can do it because you're right, because they are small enough. But I thought the 3-tier system in Florida.
It does apply,
that,
and
clearly
so
not.
we were also discussing this with the Almirada, because as
Yeah,
you guys
they
know,
were self-distributing.
they were self-distributing,
They are not
and
now.
they're no longer.
Until you serve a certain amount, I guess a certain many gallons per month, from what my understanding. From what my
I know.
understanding was, until you serve a certain gallons or kegs or whatever it is, I'm sure we could look up Florida law, but people would get bored by that.
yeah.
But there's literally a certain amount of gallons or whatever it is that you can serve or sell yourself
Okay.
in kegs until you get so big. Then you have to get a distributor under Florida law, which is why Isla Morada was able to do it themselves for a while, but then they started getting so big, which was what, a month and a half,
Yeah.
2 months,
literally?
yeah, 2 months.
Yeah.
Then that's probably when
But-
they had to go into.
Yeah, but what happened was they were distributing, they were marketing like crazy. They had a
This
good
tells me
marketing
something. This tells me, Dave Senior. This tells me that you and I have to buy a truckload of beer from them
before
And
they
then
had-
before they have to go to distributor, because when it goes to the distributor, the price is going to go up. You know,
Exactly.
so,
It's going to go up. But Dave, if you think it's boring, for those people that don't think it's boring, Section 34-62-1-2 will.
Hey,
he's not kidding. He's probably telling you exactly what. it is.
And there's some dots behind that. With another couple
Dave Senior
numbers.
knows this stuff.
Make sure you go down to paragraph A.22AA17.
these are actually just all parts from Jaguars. for all you guys that don't know that out there, Dave and Dave were both Jaguar guys.
All Jaguar parts start with letters.
Yes.
And
Not
then they
all
go
of
to-
them. Not all of
Some
them.
of the old ones.
Oh,
of the old
well,
ones
because I'm old.
But, I still know the part numbers to the four-cylinder AJ1357 is a four-cylinder Jaguar oil filter.
'Cause that's
when
not
was
boring
there-
at all.
When was there a Jaguar that had a 4-cylinder engine?
1999?
No.
No.
Wait, what came out with the
You 6-cylinder.
No, you're,
Oh, 6-cylinder, sorry.
no.
4-liter.
I've never heard of a Jaguar 4.
4-liter is what I meant.
Oh, okay.
By the
No,
way,
they had the
looking
four- yeah.
looking
I
at
meant the
the
4-liter.
It's all right.
And that's a V8, by the way. The 4-liter is a V8 because the V6 was a
3.6
liter.
Yeah.
I'd like to remind you all to phrase your answers in the form of a question. Moving on.
What was
right.
Mark's
Well, here, the last
The an-
question. Here,
the answer
last
is-
question, regarding the beer. Dave Senior, is there a cigar that you could pair with that?
Well, I'd tell you what. I just want to drink this beer.
Yeah, just
I
drink the
just
beer.
I don't want to. I don't
Right.
want to create anything else in the palate right
Fair
now.
enough.
This is such a thirst quencher and just a nice, easy-going beer. I'd hate to ruin it. To be honest with you.
I was just going to go back to the menu and say I would have this with their tequila lime fish tacos.
Yeah.
Or possibly the lemon
Beautiful.
pepper blackened Key West mahi mahi
God
sandwich.
damn you. Stop
What is
making me
this on
hungry.
there?
No!
What, they got a brew pub or something? Oh,
Yeah,
Yes, they got
That's the thing. And
Yeah.
that's something we should mention, is that what they are is a brew pub.
They are a brew pub.
They're a
and they
brew
make
pub.
great
and then
food.
people
They're a
started
brew pub
liking
and they're
beers
selling their
and they're
beer.
getting
Yeah,
rid
that's
of
what
it.
they're doing. Yeah.
They have
good
some
for them.
We should
exceptionally.
mention that. I'm
Well,
sorry.
they have done a good job.
The menu looks outstanding.
Yeah, the first
beer's
time
outstanding.
the
In
first time
Doral.
Yeah, in Doral, in the Doral section of Miami-Dade County.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And in the old days of Miami, Doral was just a section of.
It's where they had the
Miami,
Doral
right?
open.
yes.
Yeah.
Or a pack of cigarettes you can buy from the local Circle K.
No, it was a different thing. Yeah, you got to wake up pretty early in the morning to fool me on one like that, Dave.
Oh
Jr.
boy.
Diamond Dave
that's
tries
why
to pull
I'm here,
the wool
damn
over
it.
Key West Chris Ives
So for-
and fails.
The first time I ever had this stuff, a buddy of mine had grabbed a growler from a place called Mendez Fuel.
Grabbed
And,
a growler from Mendez
I
Fuel.
really
Okay.
want to go visit this place.
Mendez Fuel is like,
Ready to get
they're-
your diesel.
yeah, right. And what's the other one? The one that Rich works in, Box Elder. Mendez Fuel and Box
Oh, I've
Elder are
heard
like
of them.
they're like the
Okay.
big beer to go places up in Miami, the craft
yeah,
beer to go.
yeah.
And they do a lot of growlers. Those guys see a lot of action up there with that kind of stuff. MIA. The first time I had their beer was about 7 months.
1,400 years ago.
7 months ago, and we had a interesting evening of discussing this brewery. We're just talking, as we like to say, talking shit here about these guys, and we were just like, oh god, this is gonna be terrible, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and then we were just shut up immediately. We were like, we're just sitting there drinking this beer, like, oh my god, this is so good.
Hi, this is Danny Hoy, and you're listening to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers.
So we have a second offering.
You talked about grabbing a growler. I think it's high time you grab the next growler.
Yeah. We have
Which I
second offering is going to be
The IPA.
He was segging into
the IPA.
that. He was actually segging into that. You messed up his segue.
I missed a segue.
You took a one wheel off his Segway, which made him fall to the starboard side.
Oh, jeez. You know what? You're right.
The Segway.
I didn't see it coming, but it was. He was in the process.
He was sagging it.
He was in the
He
process.
was sagging it.
Seg.
Not sagging, sagging.
Seg.
All right, so the next one we got here is the IPA.
Which we have no information on.
None. Well,
right.
Danny has some.
Well, nothing from the brewery. They in their website, they're still developing their webpage, and they say that fairly and squarely.
Squirrely.
Fairly and squirrely. However, there is
Squirrely.
nothing on their IPA on the page. Now, Dave Senior and Danny had it last night.
Which I was very surprised. As you know, I'm not a big hoppy drinker.
Yep, and this
one, and we'll see if I had too much to drink and I liked it, or whether I really like it.
I think you really like it. And Dave Jr. is the big IPA guy here. He's the flag waver for the IPAs.
I have not tasted it yet.
He has not tasted it, but he's bringing it to his lips. He's enjoying the bouquet at the moment,
Now we're going with the
and he's
traditional-
playing with his phone instead of drinking his beer.
Traditionally, cheers.
I'm
tonight.
trying to figure out. I want to know what kind of hops and everything else is in it.
just
I mean,
drink
being an
the
IPA
beer,
drinker,
Dave.
I like to know.
You
what
drink
kind
the
of
beer
hops
and then you look. Drink the beer, see how it, and then you look.
So it's just butterier,
Ooh.
more butterier ish than
very
your
buttery.
average IPA.
Here's the funny thing, Mark and Dave
that's
Senior.
tasty.
You can help me out.
I
here.
get the butter.
They had a pale ale last night.
Yeah.
Which I felt was more hoppy than their IPA. The balance was different.
I
there
get
was-
that.
And it's strange because having this after the 305 instead of having I think we had the 305, then we had the pale ale,
Yeah, so the palates are all different.
and then we had this, and I it's hard for me to imagine that it was hoppier than this, but
Well, you got you said 60 IBUs on this, right?
Yeah, 61. Yeah.
61.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and actually 7% alcohol as well. Just on it.
which is pretty
okay.
traditional.
They actually this is the first
I'm very burpy today.
from what I'm able to
Don't
find. They basically brewed this once, and it's been sold out, and they brought us a treasure.
Woo! Really?
Because three
Yeah.
different websites I just brought up all said
Sold out.
out.
Yeah, sold
no
out.
kidding.
So they brought us something that they sold out of.
Either
And
that,
left
or
enough
they
to bring us
did
some.
sell out, and then they made another batch.
That's
and the
true.
thing is, one of the fun things that
I was hoping
talking
for
to
it the
Luis
other way.
about is that they're still trying to find their niche, and they're still trying to find things out. And Luis is he's their sales rep, and he's going to be our rep. He was saying that
Whoa.
something fell.
Yes.
Yeah, it was my cell phone. I don't need
oh.
that anymore. I'm going to tell you this is a great freaking IPA is what I'm going to say.
But Luis was he was telling us that he's very critical on beers, and the head brewer is always listening to what he has to say.
If that's the
And,
correct one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's they're always also they're adjusting things because they're still pretty new. So what we're having today might be made different a month from today.
Matuika hops from New Zealand. Interesting.
Yes, he mentioned that to us
Yes.
last night.
And Falconer's Flight,
Yeah.
bravo.
Yeah, he mentioned to us about the hops being from New Zealand.
He also did mention, and this may be the beer, I can't remember. He did mention one of the beers is made differently every time. I'm wondering
yeah.
if it is this one.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't remember.
So biscuit and caramel malts. Yeah, that's pretty straightforward as well for an IPA. Biscuit and caramel malts. That's pretty traditional.
Is it?
That's
Okay.
cool.
Like I think
Yeah.
Danny said it was 7%. You said, were you
6.
6%?
well on that batch that they have on where you're looking?
6%, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
We're not sure if
um,
this is
I
the
got
same.
the same thing. Too.
Yeah, we're not sure if this is the same batch. So
Not sure.
it's one of the fun mysteries.
Everything else I looked up said sold out, man. So who knows?
Sold out.
It is a good
Sold out
IPA,
delicious.
Well
They could have
balanced.
brought us something special.
Dave Senior, is there a cigar that would work with this one?
That's
I'm not
tough, man.
I'm not on a cigar on this one either.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
Fair
we're
enough.
just
No.
out on cigars so far tonight.
No.
Anybody for food pairings? Mark's nodding.
Yeah. El Pastor. Some like kind of
Elvis Dorf? Is that what you said?
Elvis Door. El Pastor.
El Pastor. Okay. I thought you said Elvis Door.
Yeah, you're not familiar with
Knock on
Elvis?
Elvis door, you know?
You can't hear.
Actually, the Elvis peanut butter and jelly sandwich with the bacon would go well.
Oh, that's a fun-
Bananas, peanut butter, and
That's a
bacon.
fine idea.
Yeah. But I would go for some
I haven't
spicy
had a
pork.
bacon and peanut butter sandwich in like 100
Did you say
years.
spicy pork?
Those
Yeah.
are marvelous.
Yeah, they are.
Now, they do have on their
On the
menu
grill.
at MIA, they have a braised pork belly banh mi sandwich.
Yeah, that would work with
Kimchi, cucumber, and Asian pickles.
And if you're here in Key West, you go down to a lovely little place called Kojin. They have a
We love
really
Kojin.
really nice
Kojin
banh mi
sandwich.
sandwich.
We haven't been there in
This
a
would
while.
go great with that banh mi.
They also have a guava barbecue pulled pork sandwich.
Just stop it. Just stop it right
Sorry,
now.
Mark.
I honestly believe
God
that
damn.
this would be really, really good with like a charcoal grilled Italian sausage with some hot and spicy mustard on it.
Yeah.
I can get you the spicy, Dave.
Oh.
I know. No, thank you. There was the head of a toothpick and it burned me for a half hour.
Yeah, that's our hot
So
sauce.
we should talk about this real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Ream over here.
Chris has some hot sauce.
Chris
makes,
of the Ream.
Chris makes some hot sauce.
Hey, Dave, by the way, it's not that hot. Try this down on
It
the head of a
wasn't. It's kind of
toothpick.
dull.
I think
My
it's
eyes were
fantastic.
watering.
I love your
No,
hot sauce.
no, but the
No,
hot
it's-
sauce I made wasn't all that hot today. You know, sometimes the peppers just don't have the
Yeah,
go
yeah.
to them.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
mean,
how I felt it was. And
For those
Well-
of you like me that can't handle the hot, that used to be able to, but you can't do it, you'll like the taste, but it's going to burn.
Well, I'm one of those guys. I'm like, you got hot sauce? It better burn me.
Bring it.
I want to bring. I want a third
used to
degree
be that
burn
way.
in my mouth.
I used to be that way.
Yeah, I
has
love.
to have,
But
it has to have a good flavor.
yeah, it
That's-
has to.
can't
It
just be
has.
heat.
Yeah, yeah. It has to
just
have
thinking it's nonsense.
the background, the finish.
I will say it does have a good flavor. What you get? It has a great flavor.
Thank you.
So what
But
do
the background, the oils just left in my mouth. Like my eyes were watering. Man.
you're using Scotch bonnet.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're using Scotch
Oh,
bonnets
yeah,
in that
Scotch
one.
bonnet.
Yeah.
Locally grown, your local grown Scotch
No, I
bonnet,
bought
or-
them. I bought
Oh,
them at
okay.
the supermarket.
Um,
We do grow our own.
I did pull a few off of my own plant, but the recipe for the amount that I make calls for 2 cups of Scotch bonnets, and I put in.
We're not there yet.
I put in a couple of my own, and I
I
also
hope
put
that's
in a,
like 2 gallons of
I also
hot
put in a
sauce
ghost
with 2
pepper.
cups of,
But the
a
ghost
ghost
pepper, well, the ghost pepper wasn't, which is a relative of the Scotch bonnet. They're very closely related, but it wasn't. I tasted it before I put it in there, and it wasn't that hot.
By the way, which one's hotter, the ghost pepper or the Scotch bonnet?
Once they're